Hi.
Hi.
I had a question mainly on, I've heard a bit from about this in interviews I've seen with Gary Chalk. I've never had a chance, but I know,
Gary's, anytime a question starts with, I've heard something about Gary.
it was
Who?
awful news. He told me not to come up. But no, I grew up, I missed Beast Wars initially. So I grew up, RID was the first show, then I got Armada, and I watched through that. I went back and I watched Beast Wars, surprised to find the same Megatron voice. But I was kind of wondering, the Megatron in the Unicron trilogy series, he's a lot more flat, and he's not as what's the word I'm looking for?
Dynamic?
Yes. Well, yeah. Same with the toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was wondering, did you ever, I think that's how but did you ever try, you were going from Megatron to Megatron, but did you try to slowly, over time, put a bit of that Beast Wars of Megatron? Because I know in Cybertron, you're a little more grandiose in that one.
Yeah, it was anime. Animation was already created, so we were just filling in lip flaps. And it's you don't have a lot of time. In prelay animation, what we're doing, and we could sort of pontificate and take blah 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 blah, and take a moment. But in the it's a lot of the action. It's very loud in some of those scenes, and you have to get the line in quickly.
Yeah.
It was like there was
fit it in.
Yeah, no time to sort of play around and make it something. You kind of had to get it done. It's not my favorite way to work. I use it as a challenge now to try and make sure to try and get something in that line. If I could do it over again, I would try it again. But I think that was mostly the direction was given, no, just this.
Yeah. Get it to fit.
Yeah.
Move on. Get it to fit.
Actually, that kind of gives me a follow-up question. I remember now you're saying, I heard that the production on Cybertron was different. Apparently on Armada, I think you guys were working off of unfinished animation or something like that at that point?
I can't remember.
I don't know if that's, yeah.
I just remember it being brought in like anime, right? And we go in and beep, beep, beep. And
that's a very interesting question, actually, because it really does highlight, without you realizing it, what you've done is you've highlighted the difference between acting for anime or reversioning something that's already been done in another language, and acting in a prelay, which means you record before anything gets animated. They're two very, very, very different acting styles. And that's a rare occurrence when the same actor is going to play essentially the same role, but in one technicality versus another technicality. And you noticed it as, gee, why was it sort of downplayed, or I forget the exact words you used, but what you're not saying is, why did that suck? And maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but kind of, that's the difference. And Dave put it very diplomatically. It's not his favorite way to work, but I'm going to try to be diplomatic as well. It's two very different disciplines, and there's a few people who can, Dave's a great example of this, who can do both, and you can technically go, okay, beep, 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 fit the words in, fit the words in, fit the words in, end. And also then go, okay, now I have a script, there's no pictures, now we're going to do prelay, and now I'm going to act. So that's the way I would put it. They're just apples and oranges.
I have a great respect for dubbing actors. I was called upon to do a project recently for Jeff Howell, and it's I thought that was animation. It's live action.
Ooh,
the first time I'd done that, so I'm playing this sort of hoodlum, Swedish hoodlum, and the words are, of course, they're translated.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of swearing, and there's one scene where you're trying to drive the car. Come on, we got to go! And he's screaming and yelling, and you have to. And it's technologically speaking, it's amazing because you're at home, and they're in the studio, and you can sort of, it's like karaoke. So the
Right.
words
Yeah,
come
that's a
along-
really good- that's
come
great.
along the bottom of the screen. You see on your screen, you log in or whatever, the Google, whatever the thing they do.
Yeah.
And you see the scene play out, and you can hear the foreign language, the Swedish language, and then you see the English like karaoke across the bottom. So you try and follow that along, and then if it's not quite right, the engineer, and plays it back, wow, look at that, and
Yeah.
the words fit within the lip. And to be able to bring, I'm not sure how I felt about it. It's a weird, because
I've done
I
a
hear
little
my
bit of
voice
live action.
coming out of, and you're like, oh, that's kind of,
I know.
because if I'm watching a foreign film, I watch the subtitles.
Ditto.
Because it drives
We're
me nuts.
actors. We're actors. We want to hear, even if you don't understand what the words are.
Yeah,
you want to hear the feeling,
original-
the inference, like, well, oh.
And then you see, oh, okay. But yeah, so it was weird for me, but but I have a greater respect now for like people to do that for, most of the time, because that's a skill.
It's absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So thanks. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
You didn't expect that kind of answer,
No, you
did you?
didn't.
No, that answers everything. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Of course.
thanks.